I'm Tim Ostrom, and I'm currently the chairman of the South Dakota Checkoff Board, and we farm 2,400 acres of corn and soybeans. We rotate back and forth 50-50. We do some no-till, we do some minimum till. With our modern planters, we can plant in a lot more residue than we used to be able to. No-till definitely keeps increasing in South Dakota. Conservation tillage is growing. The way farmers manage their land is evolving. We have pesticides and herbicides out there that allow us to farm with less tillage that we have in the past. We just hope that different herbicides that we're using stay available so that we can do a good job. Farmers are trying to do the best thing for their land and for the environment. We just came off a very variable year in South Dakota. Our crops were up and down. We had areas of the state that were really, really good, and we had other areas that really suffered from the drought. Personally, we experienced both ends of it. I do irrigate, so I had some of the best irrigated corn and beans that I've ever had. But we also had some farms that were dry land that had very low yields. You know, the commodity prices have been fairly good this year, and demand for soybeans is exceptional. We've got demand for meal, but probably the biggest win we have right now is oil. We have new products coming online. Renewable diesel is creating a huge demand for our soybean oil. Sustainable aviation fuel, SAF. That market is still small, but looks like it's going to be a growing demand coming from the airline industry wanting a renewable product. So there's excitement in the future of soybean production. We have bins for soybeans and we have bins for corn. When you fill a grain bin in the fall, you like to try to go to all your bins and make sure that you take out some of the corn and beans out of them to make sure the quality is still good. Especially in spring warm-up. That's when you really want to start checking your bins, make sure that they're not going out of quality. AGP built a fairly new one that's been going for a little while now, and that's been an advantage for the northern part of our state to have that facility there. They have one at Volga, South Dakota has a smaller one. So those are the two touch points for us for soybean processing. But AGP is going to be building another one in Nebraska. And we have some plants around Sioux City that process. So that's where some of my beans go, is to Sioux City. I think in our state, with the dry conditions that we're experiencing from last year, and so far right now we have very little snow cover. There are cracks in the ground that normally you would get in the late summer. We have them right now. We could get rain this spring, and that could change in a hurry, but right now we got very dry conditions. There will be irrigation, but you have to be permitted for it. You have to have the water. You have to have quality water. So not everybody can just go out and buy an irrigator. It's a limited area that can actually do that has that option. Just like everything else, I priced a pivot this year, and to get electricity brought into the area to get developed, has gone up substantially. If you want to use a diesel power unit, they've gone up a lot. To put the well in has gone up a lot. And then of course, the irrigator itself has gone up a lot. So it's a substantial investment to put in irrigation. But there is, definitely advantages. You know then that you've got the moisture that you're going to need to produce the crop. I haven't pulled the trigger on my own operation to put in a new irrigation. I'm still in the process of getting permits to do it. May still do it, but costs are a great concern on that. You have to pay for a permit, but so far in South Dakota, we can use the water. If the water's available, it's there for you to use. They monitor that. They make sure that the aquifer levels are maintained. I think there's going to be a lot of soybeans planted. We have lots of issues with corn production in the input costs of corn, for the fertilizer especially, the cost of fuel for running the tractors. There's various input costs, the cost of land to rent land if you haven't had it locked in for a long-term agreement. Most of the landlords are asking for more rent, and so there's substantial input costs that farmers are looking at this year. And then of course they got to look at how dry the forecast presently is and some of the risks that are there. And I think that corn on corn acres is my guess will be down. I don't see the corn acres going up this year, but I think soybean acres will be up